Back with Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Gonna do a new campaign. And the reason why I'm doing another campaign is there's a beta out. So this isn't in the regular version of the game, but you can opt in on the beta on Steam. And it is version 1.03, which has some interesting looking improvements. Improve the battle AI in all aspects, they say. We shall see. Should be more aggressive, keep more effective firing distance, maneuver more dynamically. So we'll see what they've done with the AI. Supposedly they've tweaked the auto design a little bit more to give them better ships. We'll see. Ship evasion. Improved acceleration, deceleration to be more natural and be affected more from flooding. So is that maybe improved should read more like more realistic? Maybe. Well, anyway, we'll see how they've done with all this. Campaign wise, there's apparently a now ports can be damaged after successful port strike missions. That looks pretty interesting. Ships sink more gradually. Okay. I don't know if I really thought ships sank too fast before. Secondary guns aim more effectively against fast-moving targets. Shell dispersion. Shell dispersion from missing shells should not happen so often close to the target. I think what they're saying there, it was a pretty common refrain you see in comments and forums and discussions about, how your shells miss like just a couple inches just short, right at their waterline, but missing. People were kind of annoyed at that. Auto switch shell type more effectively. Okay. Flash fire and detonations now. I had never noticed that they didn't really reduce the ammo count. I guess they didn't. I hadn't noticed it. And increase the cost of bulkheads. I did not notice that. One other thing, I didn't do one of these, but a lot of people were, escaping at the end of when the war ends and continue on in peace, and then later there'd be another war. The game isn't ready for that. It doesn't have the peacetime mechanics and economy and everything really built for it yet. But you could do it. However, apparently they decided to fix that. Fix the bug that allowed you to continue the campaign after a peace treaty when pressing escape. In any case, I thought I'd try this beta out and record a campaign. And I've actually I haven't started the campaign per se, but I did build my ships already. Just because I didn't want to burn 2 episodes on that. But I haven't done anything else. I chose Germany. And I went with 1910. For me, 1910 is kind of a sweet spot in that, 1910, you get the Dreadnought capital ships, and the gunnery starts to improve. The accuracy's better at longer ranges. But you're not yet into the 8 billion torpedoes in the water at once, like starts to happen in 1920. And that primarily starts to occur because the deck edge, triple, quadruple deck launchers start to become available for cruisers. And destroyers, quadruples. So anyway, 1910, and I haven't... I don't think I've done a 1910 Germany campaign. and I left it on historical behavior for the British, and I just went with normal. Didn't really think about it, to be honest. I think all it really affects is the economy and their. So what I designed, I did 4 classes, and I didn't really maximize. Like, I didn't try to build anything super cheap, but I didn't really try to bling everything out either. I just kind of wanted a middle of the road, relatively modestly priced edition of each. And I guess the biggest thing I did kind of different here that I haven't done before is for my capital ship. Usually I just build a battleship. I've done plenty of those, and I decided to do a battle cruiser this time. But I did it a little different. It's not really it's more of a pocket battleship in some ways. It's not all that fast. 24 knots isn't super slow for 1910. It should still be faster than British battleships, but it's not particularly fast. I could have made it much faster. But it's pretty heavily armored for a battlecruiser. Gave it a 13-inch main belt, and the British battleships are likely to be 12 or 13-inch guns, and I give it this armor should be pretty good for that. There's nothing way up forward, and I've just got everything should be within the main belt is what I'm trying to say. So I didn't put a whole lot of armor on the fore and aft. But so she's heavily armored, not all that fast, and that's why I say she's really kind of more of a pocket battleship, which, I could have just made a smaller battleship as well, or even used the small Dreadnought hull, which I had available. But I went this way. And it's not exactly kind of a Nelson-ish, like a Nelson arrangement, but I kind of took a page from that, and I just did the 2 main turrets. These are 2 double 13-inch turrets. And counteract that, I moved the deck house and the funnel, here kind of aft. So it's vaguely Nelson-like. And I didn't put a main turret aft, but I do have quite a few. I think these are, what I do here, 6-inch. No, 5-inch. I loaded it down with a bunch of 5-inch secondaries, primarily facing aft. The idea being, if I get in one of these, destroyer ambush or, get ganged up on by a lot of ships, and so I'm kind of angling away from them to maintain distance, and I've got the majority of my 5-inchers facing aft, and they should be plenty fine for destroyers and light cruisers, and with HE probably even against armored cruisers as well. But I didn't cram the turrets up real close together. I kind of gave them a lot of deck space so that they've got a really nice. I can't click on the. On a completed design, you can't click and see the firing art. Anyway, I spaced these out away from the main tower and then in front of this, away from this barbette, so that they have a really, really wide firing arc. I shouldn't have to angle too far off of dead astern to bring these guns to bear as well, the 13-inch. So that's what I did for my capital ship. And my hope is that by using a battlecruiser hull, by not having that much main armament, by it not being terribly fast, that the cost, it's at 24 million. But hopefully I should be able to build a fair number of these to counteract the British capital ships for power projection purposes and try to prevent a blockade, which is also why I built a fair amount of range into this battlecruiser as well. So that's the battlecruiser. The other ships are basically kind of, I mean, they almost kind of build themselves in a way, because there's not much you can do with where you put the front and aft towers or where you put the turrets. You know, there's limited space there, and I just tried to kind of put them together in such a way that, you know, they're not great in everything, but they're not terrible in any one area. One of the things that's kind of a pain to deal with in designing in the earlier eras is smoke interference. There's only so much you can do. And so I kind of wound up with, you know, it's also 24 knots. I did put a lot of range in this. And she's got 9-inch main battery fore and aft, and I think these are all 4-inchers along the side. And I kind of balanced it out at 24 knots, 81% engine efficiency, and just under 20 smoke interference was about as good as I could get it without really nerfing one of those other parameters. Now on the light cruiser, her main armament is just 1 6-inch forward and aft. There's no double turrets yet available for light cruisers at 1910. And then a whole bunch of 4-inch all along the side. This ship should do a pretty good job of tearing up merchants, because light cruisers are going to get a lot of those attack convoy battles. Decently fast for the era, not super fast. Again, it was balancing engine efficiency, funnels, smoke interference, speed, and this is just kind of how it shook out. And I wound up, actually she's almost 1,000 tons short of what she needed to be. So I tried to shrink the ship down. You know, I tried to bring the displacement down to 7,500 or 7,000. And the effect that that had, however, was, you know, I could get this down 7,000 and everything still fit on the smaller hull. However, the pitch and roll just completely went out the window. Got up to like a combined 40. So I just kept the, you know, basically it's a larger hull that's got some space and leftover tonnage in it, but that makes it more stable. It doesn't pitch and roll as much. So I just left it the way it is. So it's going to count, I think, in the game for 8,000 tons. But it's really a 7,000 ton ship. And then for the destroyer, kind of the same idea as what I had for the cruiser. The game really likes to give destroyers convoy battles. And so, you know, you got to put a torpedo on it. I put one double launcher here just forward of the deck house. And then she's got 4 4-inch. And I think a couple destroyers spamming out 4-inch should rip up convoys pretty good. And I'm not gonna build a whole lot of these. As I think I've mentioned before in other campaigns, that on a per ton basis, destroyers are by far the most expensive per ton ship type there is, much higher than battleships and battlecruisers. And so they're useful. I like them, but I only feel compelled to build enough to give the battle generator some destroyers to work with. I don't need more than, 4 or 6 to have a few around and get destroyer battles. I'm not going to build a ton of these. And that's really kind of true of all ship classes. So I think the way to go, what I've arrived at kind of over time, is the bulk of the fleet needs to be there to match the AI opponent for blockade purposes, or preventing blockade in the case of Germany. And I think the most cost-effective way to do that is probably via making sure that the capital ships remain on par. That you stay pretty close. In Germany's case, that you stay pretty close to Britain's capital ships. And then as far as the cruisers, you probably don't need that many. You just need enough to give the battle generator some to work with. Because it creates fairly even tonnage battles, at least in the current iteration of the campaign. That could change in the future, but for now. So with all that in mind, I haven't actually bought any of these and built the fleet yet. So, Britain has 10 capital ships. They have also laid down some right here at the start of the game. And these may actually be in progress, not immediately laid down. So we can count on them. They've got at least, they got 10 and they have at least 2 building. Who knows what is scrolled off the bottom. All those little bug fixes they did in 103, and they didn't fix this yet. I'm kind of toying between doing 8 or doing 10. If I do 10, that's 240 million out of my available 400 million. And I do want to leave, a pretty healthy balance when I'm done building the fleet. I'm going to go with 8 for now. Okay, that leaves us with about 200 million. The armored cruisers are, I think, 9 million apiece. I think I'll do 8 of them. About 124 million. And we'll just, you know what? We'll just build 8 of everything. It seems to be about right. But that's probably all the destroyers I will build for the. Probably, unless a bunch get sunk, which could happen. I'll try to maintain 8 destroyers. I may have to build some in order to do that. No, I'm going to do 6. 6 is enough. Okay, that leaves 50 million in the bank. That's fine. And let's see. think all the battle cruisers will fit in Emden. And I think everything else should fit in Wilhelmshaven. I think. Okay, finances. As always, crew training max. I personally think this is the best bang for the buck in the whole budget. We're going to have to keep the transport capacity. Depending on how things go, maybe later this can be fiddled with a little bit, but at least at the beginning, I always go max on transport capacity. And I've gotten comments on this before, but I'm not going to research tech. Just not. Because I might get blockaded. And I will build up, I may build up a huge surplus and have millions and millions surplus every month and get an enormous naval fund. But I might need it if I get blockaded. And as I've talked about in pretty much every campaign prior, the current state of the campaign, especially now that they won't even let you escape and continue in peacetime, I just don't see much point in the tech investment. That will change in the future. That is temporary once they go to the longer campaign that lasts for decades. Okay. No battles in January, which I think it's pretty much always like that. This is the month where war is declared. And who knows? Maybe we're the bad guys. Maybe we started this. The game doesn't really say one way or the other. Okay. I know I want at least 2 more of those battle cruisers building. Actually, I'm just gonna jump out ahead. I'm gonna lay down 4 of these things. Build them in Hamburg. In general, my ships aren't as fast as I have typically built them in the past, and because speed is a huge driver for ship cost. It's one reason I kind of did it that way. And then another reason is because I was trying to handle smoke interference on most of those classes, or the cruisers anyway. The battleship, the battlecruiser wasn't that bad, I don't think. And I don't know about that battlecruiser, or kind of heavy battlecruiser, light battleship design. That may work out really great, or it may just be a disaster. Well, they fixed this, and I did notice that mentioned in the notes, but I failed to point that out at the beginning of the episode. These with the 1.01 patch, these, for some reason, these messages disappeared. You never saw them the whole campaign. Now we got them back, and we're off to a good start. It's the British losing transports right at the beginning. That's good. And here we go. Destroyer attack. 2 of our armored cruisers have been set upon by... Oh no, we're attacking theirs. Okay. Didn't really build them for that. They're not that... they're not that well set up for torpedo attacks. But we'll get a chance to see what the British armored cruisers are like. And we're starting right in range, apparently. Let's smoke up. Oh, crap. They're shooting off their damn torpedoes already. Because I forgot to... Hopefully it was just that one. Yeah, he's the only one who fired. I don't remember what kind of... Nah, I gave him standard propulsion. I usually go fast on the destroyers. And would have this time too, I just didn't think about it. Everybody can go HE. These little 4-inch guns. Well, let's put this division on torpedo avoidance. And second group. What are they doing? I thought they were in follow. Anyway, I'm going to put them on torpedo evasion 2. So much for torpedo evasion. Sounds like I just ate a torpedo somewhere. Okay. Okay, V6, detach. It might be too close. Yeah, he shot at this guy instead. He's not reloaded yet. V5 ate a torpedo. And apparently I'm... what a mess. And I think I just got shot by my own torpedo. This is a debacle. This is not a good start. Okay, let's try to get something done here. Those are pretty good. V4, detach. And come over here and hit this guy again. Actually, this next torpedo shot should sink this cruiser. Oh my goodness. Oh, he switched fire to... I didn't notice that he had switched his target. Well, maybe we'll get lucky. Okay, where was that other guy then? Come on back around. You're just about reloaded. Come finish off this already torpedoed cruiser. And I'll designate the target this time, so you can't switch fire. Actually, he may hit that guy. At least one. No, he's going to slip past. Oh, crap. I don't know, maybe I should have left torpedo avoidance on for that guy. Oh, I think I may be about to sink one of my own destroyers. I can't control his rudder because it's damaged. It's not turning very fast. He's going to get out of the way. Okay. You need to rejoin the fight. You need to rejoin the fight. This is a mess. I'm not fighting this very well. I think that was painfully evident. Well, V3's starting to get a pretty good angle, though. Screw it. I don't think those were fired at. I don't know who else they were fired at. It had to be him. Okay. Where are you? Anytime, there he goes. I think those are both going to hit. Okay, V2 is out of torpedoes. So get the hell out of here. That's a damaged rudder guy. Okay, collision avoidance seems to be working. They're not slowing down like they often do. Good job. V5 and V2. Are those torpedo tracks or just waves? These are torpedo tracks, although Hawk is going to avoid. V6, out of torpedoes. Retreat. Get out of here. Flooding. Oh, there's another one. Oh, where did those come from? V3 is going to score a long-range hit here. Boom. Oh, that didn't hit him anywhere that he wasn't already flooded. Let's go with save to get a nice firing solution. Hopefully. I think it's going to hit in the wrong. Need hits back aft. Well, now I just want him to hit. That forward one may slip past the bow. Nah, they're both going to hit. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to flood him a little bit more, but I don't think enough to sink him. Man, this Imperieuse has taken like 5 torpedo hits and is not going to sink from them, I don't think. Right, who still has torpedoes? And which one to use them on? You go after Imperieuse. I think that'll get what we need right there. Hope. Yeah. Yeah, he's split in half now. They're done. Oh, he's not going to be able to turn in time. Damaged rudder. He's going to take 2. I don't see what I can do about it. That's probably the end of V5 right there. Yep. Okay. Out of torps. Out of torps. Not very maneuverable. Well, maybe we just HE him to death. I don't know. The vast majority of our damage has come from cruiser torpedoes. Their gunnery hasn't been, as far as I can tell, hasn't been particularly effective. Well, if you can manage to get over here, V3, I'll turn your torps on. Maybe you can manage something. I may as well come back and help shoot at this guy. I guess that goes for all of you. You can come back and HE 4-inch him to death. Oh my goodness. Man, his rudder's really messed up. Well, CA is not hugely armored, but it's not unarmored either. 7-inch 7-inch guns is fairly light for a CA, even at this era. Our CAs are 9-inch guns. And 22.5 knots. That's slower than our CA. So it's less armored, slower, and has smaller guns than our armored cruiser. Should be a pretty good matchup. Does have torpedoes. And they were firing double spread, so I assume it's got 2 port and starboard. Yeah. It doesn't appear to have any bow and stern launchers, though. Fast. And I'm guessing that would be a 4-kilometer range, 4.1-kilometer range. Now we're wearing down his structure. Just create a little a little circle around him now. You can only fire one guy at a time, right? I mean, you could fire it more, but the AI doesn't really. Let me slow down a little bit for accuracy. It's got some fires going, down to 23%. I'm wearing him down. Pretty soon we'll have more destroyers here joining our little circle. I guess I can speed it up a little bit. Oh, just about there. There we go. Okay, well, that was not that was not a pretty start to the campaign in the first battle. It was quite a mess. However, you traded one destroyer for 2 armored cruisers. I think that's a good trade. 2,000 victory points to about 600. And there we go. Looks like I'm building another destroyer, though. Oh, and the British lose another transport. Good stuff. And get that destroyer building. Replacement. And all these destroyers are repairing now. And check this out. The one non-damaged destroyer. So basically in being 114,000 repair costs, 573,000. It cost about 5 times as much to repair as normal monthly fee. Hopefully for the battle cruisers, hopefully for the larger ships, it won't be so drastic a difference. I think that will do for this first episode. Thank you very much for watching.